And then there was like local lockdowns and all of this being announced, and we were like, oh crap. Jack really likes things like Wolfgang. Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. Me and Penny, this is my puppy Penny, if you haven't been here before. She's the best. She's actually 3, but she just looks tiny. Are here to give you a different kind of video today. So basically I asked on my Instagram and on here, and it seemed like people wanted to know kind of more about my pregnancy experience so far. Obviously I'm only just past the first trimester. Well, I'm 4 months and a bit pregnant now, like 4 months and 4 weeks. Let me start again. I'm 4 months and 2 weeks on Wednesday, which is when you're watching this, and it's Monday today. So I'm like 4.5 months. So I'm kind of like halfway through. So yeah, I basically normally do a weekly vlog today, but I've been just not having the best week, like pregnancy hormones, like just feeling a bit down, and I was trying to like make it work, and then I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna have a week off of vlogging and do something different, and it's something that you guys wanted to see anyway, so I thought, why the hell not? So I did a little poll on, or a question Q&A thing on my Instagram to get some questions, and I thought I would answer those for you guys. There was also one on YouTube which I was like, why is this guy asking me a random question? And then I realised that I'd actually asked for questions in the video. So my bad. The first thing I wanted to address, because I feel like I've spoken on here a lot, but I don't know if I like use the word husband a lot, but a lot of people were like, I'm so happy for you and your boyfriend, and I was like, he's actually my husband. So I just wanted to clear that up, that I'm married. Not that that makes a difference to things, but I just thought I'd let you guys know, because I don't know if you knew or not. Yeah, we got married on the 9th of November last year, and so yeah, we've basically spent most of our marriage in lockdown. Which is crazy. Way to throw us in the deep end, but I mean, we love each other's company, so if anything, it's been an absolute blessing, and we just wish that Jack could work from home all the time, to be honest, because I think I'm gonna really miss him when he goes back. So I have one question from YouTube. I thought I'd get more, honestly. If you guys have any more questions down below, like, feel free to ask. But the rest are all from Instagram, because they are nosy over there. So the first question is, have you not been on contraception for a while now? Well, so I don't know when I actually 100% came off it. So I was on the non-hormonal coil before. I can't remember why I went on it. I think I was just done with the pill. I'd tried having the implant, whatever it's called, before. Oh my goodness, I literally was when I was on that. Like, I've heard it from so many people. Like, lots of my friends have had it, and they've all had the same experiences. A lot of people didn't bleed at all. Personally, I bled like non-stop. I'd literally have to take tablets to stop myself from having a period whenever I was on it. So that was annoying. Basically every 3 months I'd have a period that was like a month long, and then I'd have to take tablets to stop the period, else it would have just bled the whole time. I think I might have been on it for like a year. But I basically was like suicidal when I was on it, so it wasn't good. I wouldn't recommend. I had the mini pill again, just bled all the time, so I came off of that like after a couple of months, because I was just like, this is not the one for me. But again, my friend's on it, and she's like not bled for like a year, so I guess it's like different for everyone. I'm just obviously very unlucky, and I just was done with hormones. I just was like, I don't want any hormones in my body. I suffer from anxiety, and I just was like, do you know what, I think it's time to like know who I am as a person. And I'd been on the pill on and off, like apart from the episodes of trying other things, like the combined pill, since I was like 14, basically when I started my period, because I was like, had really bad periods, they lasted late ages, and I had really bad pains. So I went on the copper coil, and I've only ever had really good experiences. It was obviously not a pleasant experience having it put in. This is not the question, I've realised, but I thought you might find it interesting. It wasn't pleasant having it put in, but my periods were longer, but obviously at this point I didn't know what my actual periods were like. I'd only had the experiences of like bleeding constantly on other forms of contraceptive, and before I went on the pill I'd had really long periods, so I was kind of like but they lasted like a full 7 days. I didn't find them super painful. I did have the occasional like really painful period, but I think, I mean, I don't know because I don't know what other people's periods are like, but I feel like I've got quite a high pain threshold. I've never taken paracetamol for period pains. I just kind of get on with it. Obviously when I had the coil in, I was on cocaine more, really painful. Like for the days, a few days after you have like really bad period pains. But yeah, I was on that for like maybe a year, 2 years, and I was really happy. The only reason I got it out is because we wanted to start trying for a baby, and I was really happy that I had made the decision to go on to the copper coil previously, even though this wasn't the reason why, because if you have had the combined pill or something like that, or any other hormones, it can take a while for them to get out of your system. So I can heard that it can take up to a year to get out of your system. Whereas obviously because I had no hormones, once the coil was removed, like I was good to go. But yeah, I did actually have an issue because our doctors are basically rubbish, like in my town. The receptionist, I don't know if anyone else's doctors like this, but the receptionists are literally like bulldogs. It's so hard to get past them, and I told them that I needed to have my coil removed, so they should have booked me like a proper room with a nurse and a doctor that like specializes in it, but they didn't. So I was just like in a tiny room with a doctor who like basically didn't know what she was doing, and it was quite painful and she couldn't get it out. And then when they were like, you've got to go to hospital to see a gynecologist, and my appointment wasn't until March. Bearing in mind I went in January, so it was quite uncomfortable. Like she'd obviously like fiddled around and left it like not in the right position, and then so then I feel like I'm like going off on so then I was waiting, and then it got moved again, and then in the end I was like, do you know what, I'm just gonna pay to go private because I just want this out. I want to start trying for a baby, and also it's not comfortable, and I could afford to. It was like £200, which I know is quite a lot of money, but I just was like, I'm done with this pain. I just want the coil out. I want to start trying for a baby. And the person in the private hospital literally got it out in seconds, and it was pretty painless. So I would highly recommend, if you can afford to just like pay to go private. But to be fair, I mean, maybe I just had a really bad doctor, but she also said that the doctor had left it half out, so it wouldn't have done its job, but it would have, so I could have got pregnant, but because the coil was still half in there, it would have been an ectopic pregnancy. So thank goodness I did get out, because it could have caused me health issues. Anyway, so I have not been on contraceptive. So I got that, I think it was like February, it must have been like January, February time when I actually got it out. And thank goodness I did, because of the pandemic. I actually honestly think that I would have still had it in now if I hadn't, because they'd have changed my appointment. I'd still be waiting for a hospital appointment, because in March we were in lockdown. So thank goodness I did. And then, so we tried for like maybe 2 months, I think. So yeah, I must have got it out end of Jan. We tried for like 2 months, or a month and a half, and then it was like COVID and lockdown. So we were like, let's just stop trying, because we don't want to risk, like, we don't know what's going on in the world, like it's just not worth it, like let's just see what happens. So we kind of stopped trying. And then after lockdown was over, we were like, okay, like maybe we should start trying again. And we were like, we'll just tentatively try. Like, we're not trying, but we're not trying. And I honestly think that it was because of the stress aspect. Not that it was stressful, because like baby making is fun, you guys, but it was just like, I don't know, maybe like the pressure, because we were like, if it happens, it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't know. But guys, that month we got pregnant, so yeah, I don't know what happened, but maybe it was just the pressure. And then there was like local lockdowns and all of this being announced, and we were like, oh crap, what have we done? But I guess realistic, I mean, obviously a pandemic is 100% not the ideal situation to be pregnant in, but equally, I feel like in life, is there ever a right time? No. Are you excited about becoming a mum? Yes, 100%. Like, I'm literally not scared of it at all. Like, I don't know if I should be, maybe I'm being naive, but I feel like, I know people are probably going to be like, oh my god, but I feel like having this little girl has made me kind of like ready. Like, she made us ready definitely to have a baby, because she's just like, she's so needy, and like she's literally the biggest baby. Like, she's so needy, she sleeps in bed with her at night, like she cries all the time. Like, she is literally like having a baby. So I feel like I just love her so much. Like, I would literally do anything for her, and I just feel like having a baby is going to be that feeling times 1,000. So I'm just really excited basically to have a baby. I'm not nervous at all. I work from home. I've saved loads of money so that I don't need to worry about working if, like, it is really stressful when I first have the baby. So I'm kind of in a place where I'm like, do you know what, like, I'll be at home with the baby, and like, if it's stressful and like I haven't had any sleep and stuff, then I would just stay in bed with the baby. Like, I'll just deal with it. So I've because I don't know, this is another question actually that I got about maternity pay, for, I don't know if it's for being a blogger or but yeah, I think maternity pay is £600 a month for freelance or self-employed people, which is not a lot. So I will probably continue working. I probably won't claim it because there's no point, because I could just do a couple of Instagrams a month and earn more than that. So I would rather keep working because I'll be able to do it. And like, yeah, I just don't think I will need it, and it's just like such a little amount that, I mean, obviously if I was in a situation where I needed it, then I would, any little helps, but I just don't think that it's worth it for me, to be honest. Any baby names yet? So we have got a girl's name that we really like. We've both agreed on it. It sounds so nice with Jack's surname too. Well, my surname, our surname. It sounds really nice and like, we love it. But we can't agree on a boy's name, really. We've got a couple that we kind of like. Jack really likes things like Wolfgang, Oswald, Bartholomew, and I'm like, that is not happening. So yeah, we haven't really, so hopefully we'll have a girl and then we won't need to worry because we've already got a girl's name. Are you going to wear maternity clothing or just wear normal clothes and size up? So all of my jumpers, like this, I get everything in a medium or a large anyway. Like, people were commenting on my hauls like, oh, I can see you getting everything in a large, and I was like, no, like, that's not why. Like, literally, look at any of my videos. I love clothes oversized. I shop at the men's section a lot, so yeah, I generally don't think I'll have an issue with clothing. It's going to be the bottom half. But I'm not averse to maternity clothes at all. I haven't really looked into it. Like, I'm just taking it as it comes. I guess I'll just see what happens. But I've heard that H&M, ASOS and Topshop do the best maternity jeans from my DMs so far. How many children would you and your husband like to have? We've not really discussed it at length. I mean, we both come from quite big families. I've got 3 sisters, there's 4 of us in total, and Jack's got 2 brothers, so there's 3 of them in total. So we definitely want our child to have siblings because we've both grown up with siblings, and we're both like, I am obviously closer to mine because they live in the same town as me, whereas Jack's brothers live in different towns, but they still speak all the time. They see each other as often as they can. They're really close, and I'm really close to mine. So I feel like we've both got really great relationships with our siblings, and we've loved having siblings growing up. So I feel like we definitely want to have our child to have siblings. I feel like 3 is a good number. I feel like we've discussed, and 3 is a good number. I mean, I know Jack would like to have as many as possible, but yeah, I think 3 is a good number. But personally, I'm like, we'll have 1 and see how it goes, and then take it from there, because I feel like, yeah, I don't know, if I have an awful pregnancy, then I might be like, I'm never doing that again. This is an interesting one. Are you worried about Penny being gel of the baby? As I say this, she's like curled up on my lap. Yes, I am really worried. Well, not really worried, the thought doesn't consume me. I kind of have like, I'm less worried now because I've spoken to a few people about it. But I was just worried because, first of all, I'm worried she'll be jealous. Don't think she would ever hurt the baby. But I'm more worried for her. Like, I don't want her to feel left out. I don't want her to feel like she's been replaced. So we're just gonna make sure that we don't make her feel left out, basically. So like, things like people saying about having like a cot that was like next to the bed, we're not going to do things like that because Penny sleeps in the bed, and everyone's like, oh, you don't want the dog in the bed, blah blah blah. Well, at the end of the day, we're going to do what suits us, and we love Penny sleeping with us, she loves sleeping with us, and we don't want to turf her out and make her feel unwelcome. Obviously, if there were issues in the future, then we would take the precautions necessary, but the baby is going to be in a cot and Penny is going to be in the bed, and that's just how it's going to be. So yeah, hopefully she won't be jealous. I think apparently as well, I spoke to someone I know who's recently had a baby, and her dog actually apparently hated kids, like literally bit them. And she said that as soon as she had her baby, like dogs know that it's your child, they can smell it, and they act differently towards your child than they do towards other children. And her dog that was like really vicious towards other children, basically she said would like literally cuddle up to baby when the baby was crying, would like lick it, and it would like acted like it was her baby. So I'm just hoping that Penny is like the same, and once the baby is like old enough to play with Penny, they're going to be best friends for life. How did you know and feel that it was the right time? I'd love a baby one day, but I'm just not sure when. Well, so as I said before, with pandemic and stuff, like I feel like there's never a right time in terms of like financially what's going on in the world, but I think, so I don't know if you guys remember, if you followed me for a while you probably will, when I went to Thailand with Pandora, my friend Mariko, who if you saw my come shopping with me vlog last week, then you will see Ayami, the baby that was there, is now like 2.5 or 2, and at the time she was 6 months, and she was so well behaved, and she was just so sweet and cuddly, and like honestly she is what made me think I'm ready for a baby. And I came home from the trip and I was like, I'm ready for a baby, and Jack was like, yeah, me too. But obviously that was like 2 years ago. We were living in a rented place, and we weren't married, so not that you need to be married, but just we were engaged, so we wanted to wait till we were married. So we basically we planned to start trying as soon as we were married. So we were like, we're gonna try after Christmas, because we got married in November, so we were like, we're gonna try after Christmas. Jack also, sorry, turn my notifications off. Jack also is like biology boy, and very like, your clock is ticking, so he wanted me to have my first one when, or by the time I was 30, and I'm 30, so I feel like it's all kind of just like, we were ready like for a baby. We've got a house, we got married, and the next thing on our list was a baby. How are you finding pregnancy? I'm actually finding it okay. Like, I say this now, but in the first trimester I really struggled. Like, I have never been so tired before in my entire life. Like, can't even explain to you how tired. I felt like I'd been drugged. Like, I just literally couldn't open my eyes. I felt like I had the flu, like every bone in my body ached. I just could not get up. Like, I was so tired, and it's so hard because it's a time that you're not meant to tell anyone. And so like I was just finding it really hard to like put out work and content and stuff. And also like obviously I was quite lucky because of the pandemic that I kind of had an excuse. I could just be like, and also because I had chest issues too, so I could just be like, sorry, like I don't feel safe. So I managed to like avoid a couple of things, but I had loads of my friends' 30th birthday parties and things. So yeah, there was that. And then also I had really bad sickness. I was quite lucky that I only had it for like 3 weeks to a month. I didn't have it for the whole first trimester. And my friend works, or she used to be, my best friend was a midwife, but now she works on a cancer ward. So both of those jobs mean that she works for people who have had really bad sickness. So she literally was my lifesaver. She had like 1,000,001 tips, which I should probably share with you. Obviously travel bans, bitter lemon apparently is good, ice drinks, plain food, what else? Personally, mints really helped. The thing that I found that I just was eating loads of ginger biscuits and loads of shredded wheat, because it was just plain and dry and easy. And also she was just like, don't stress if you don't like eat all the look at her, she's literally a baby. If you don't eat all the like vitamins and fruit and everything, like don't stress, like just do what you can basically, because there's some people who literally, like luckily I didn't actually throw up, I just felt really sick, and the only way to not feel sick was basically to be asleep. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just being asleep was the only thing I could do, to be honest. Hey guys, I'm just editing my video about my pregnancy Q&A, and I realised that there's some quite important things that I didn't include about my first trimester that I've been thinking about since, and I wasn't going to include them, but then I was like, do you know what, don't care what I look like, I feel like it's important to include these because I had quite a few symptoms that people didn't tell me about, so I thought I would share them because there's quite a few things, yeah, I just feel like people don't tell you about. So hopefully if you're having them, I can make you feel better. I mean, this whole Q&A, like, I'm editing it now and it's like TMI and really long, but I just thought, I mean, if you're watching this, you probably will find this useful. So the first thing that I had that I was really concerned about, and I still get it now in second trimester, but it's not as bad, like, I kept calling them period pains because they feel like period pains. Really bad, like, just all the time. But my midwife said it's fine, like, everything's growing down there, everything's moving. It's like, honestly, it's just normal to get them. Obviously, if they're really, really bad, you should definitely, or just bad in general, or you're concerned, like, even if you're concerned, like, honestly, just ask your midwife. I've got my midwife's number and I've been texting her all the time. I also had spotting. It was like TMI, but it was a bit like brown blood rather than red blood, and apparently if it's fresh blood, you would be more concerned, because brown blood is older blood. Gross. But yes, so I had that. Apparently nothing to worry about. I've spoken to a few people, they had the same, and my midwife said it's nothing to worry about, and everything was fine. But obviously with any bleeding, do contact your midwife, but I'm just telling you this because hopefully it will make you feel a bit less concerned, and like, it happens to other people. And then what else? So also going towards the end of the first trimester, had the most awful headaches. I feel like they were kind of stress related, but yeah, I had really bad headaches. Now, I don't really get headaches that often, and I never take tablets. Like, I just don't like I'm a weirdo. I would rather feel the pain and know what the pain is like, so I can try and like drink water or do something about it. Like, I don't like taking tablets, but they were so bad I had to take tablets for them. And I was just like going to bed really early because I was just like, I can't even be awake with this pain in my head. What else? I haven't really had any heartburn, which I'm, fingers crossed, I hope that I don't get it because apparently it's awful. And I'm like 4.5 months now, I've not had it at all. What else? Wind. Really bad wind, guys. Really bad wind. Also, I was talking to someone else and they had the same as me, like on your teeth, like almost feels like plaque, like, but like sticky, and it is a side effect actually. And yes, bleeding gums apparently is a side effect too, and having like nodules on your gums, it's like weird little bubbles. I think maybe I'm making that up, but anyway, because I had a bit of my tooth fall out, and my mum was like, oh yeah, you know what they say, have a baby, lose a tooth. And I was like, do they? What? Why did no one tell me about this first? Like, there's so many things. Like, basically the baby takes your, like, someone said to me, like, you never need to worry about if the baby's getting enough of what it needs, because it will take it from you. So you basically make sure that you're staying nourished, because the baby won't suffer, you will, basically. So it can manifest in all these weird things. So yeah, apparently it's really common to get like sticky plaque and like bleeding gums in pregnancy and other dental issues, which I guess is why you get free dental care when you're pregnant. I think that's it. Wind. Oh, also constipation and the other thing are quite common too. Had both of those. So I'm just laying like this, smarmix. What else? I think that's it. So I'll let you watch the rest of the video. Now you've got all my lovely side effects. Someone said, were you trying for a long time before you fell pregnant? I think average, like, as I said, we were trying for like a month and a half, and then we had a break, and then the next month we did. So I think that we fell pregnant quite quickly. When I was Googling, like, and researching about it when we first started trying, I was literally so shocked at how hard it is to get pregnant. Like, there's like 3 days that you could get pregnant a month, and it's like 30% chance or something like that. So I feel like, yeah, I think that it's like, it is really hard. I think that people think that it would just happen, and like, obviously it does for some people, and like, we were lucky, but I think that like, it's quite common for it to take like up to a year, because it's just not a quick process. But yeah, for us it was probably like 2 to 3 months in total, but obviously we had a big gap in between. Also, I downloaded the Glow app, which is an app that tells, like, it tracks your periods, which is actually really handy even if you're not trying to get pregnant, just to track your periods. But also it told me like the days that I was ovulating. You can get ovulation sticks, but you have to like wee in a pot and then stick it in, which I know now I'm like, that's not that gross. Like, I'm gonna have to do a lot more gross things like being pregnant. But I was just like, I don't want to wee in one of my cups. What am I going to do? So I was like, I'm just not going to do that. But they also have really good tips on there. And one of the app tips was that sperm can live inside of you for 5 days. So it was like, have sex in the 5 days running up to you ovulating, because then the sperm can be waiting at the bar when the egg walks in. Someone said, which room will the baby be getting? Unfortunately, the baby will be getting my room, well, the wardrobe filming like room. It's basically, it's on the same level as our, we've got a 3-story house, and there are 2 smaller rooms upstairs, which we'll probably give the baby when it's like a child. But this level, it's good to have it on the same level as us, I think, for like just safety and ease and like peace of mind while it's a baby. So it's going to have that room. But I'm going to keep my wardrobes in there, so it's fine. Are you going to find out the gender of the baby? If so, will you do a gender reveal? 100% want to find out the gender of the baby. Though someone did tell me that they went to have their scan, because actually so many people have messaged me on Instagram who are pregnant too, and they're like around the same. One girl's even got the same due date as me, so it's really exciting to be able to chat with everyone. But yeah, are you going to find out the gender? Definitely. Oh yeah, sorry, got completely sidetracked. She said that she went and the baby was like crossing its legs. So I feel like if that happened, I'd probably be like, it's a sign from the universe. And Jack would probably be like, no, it's bloody not. We're going for a private scan and we're going to find it out. Because I think he really wants to find it out. I don't think we'll do a gender reveal. Like, I just don't think, it's not really my vibe. And I feel like it's quite a personal thing. Like, it's a very special moment to find out. So I feel like I just want to find out just me and Jack, rather than having this whole like, and also with COVID, like, I mean, I'd probably only be able to invite like 2 people. It's like, what's the point? And Jack was reading all these stories about in America, apparently they do this crazy gender reveals, so people have like died from explosions and stuff. Like, it's crazy. And there was a wildfire from a gender reveal. Like, it's insane. So I don't know, I'm not a really showy person. I just think just me and Jack will find out, and then I'll like announce it somewhere somehow. But yeah, so probably not a gender reveal. Are you going to do maternity fashion? 100%. This is my job. I can't just like hide my bump. So yeah, 100% there'll be maternity fashion. If and when, well, not if, because obviously it's gonna happen, but when the bump grows. I mean, I have got a little bit of a bump now, guys. Like, I'm very excited about it, I'm not gonna lie. But it's not like, I still fit in my jeans, basically. How did you deal with worry in the first trimester? Oh my goodness, it's so hard. Like, I worried so much. Every time I went to the toilet, TMI, but I checked my pants for blood, because I was like, just waiting. I know it's awful to say, but I was almost like waiting for something bad to happen, because I just was like, I couldn't believe it had happened, that I was pregnant. So I was just like waiting for something bad to happen. I kept thinking awful things, like, but actually when I spoke to my midwife, she said that, because I was telling her about my sickness and stuff, and she said that sickness and being tired and all of the side effects that you think are awful from being pregnant are actually signs that your baby is healthy. Not to say that if you don't get them, your baby is not healthy, but it's just like she said, it's quite good to give you peace of mind, and also kind of makes the side effects feel more worth it, because you can think, okay, well, the baby's healthy, so it's fine. So yeah, I tried to like focus on the fact that I had these symptoms, and that meant that the baby was fine. But yeah, I worried so much, and I really worried about, like, because you do the tests for all the screening and stuff, so I was really worried about all that. So yeah, I just think it's natural to worry, like, obviously. And I was talking to my sister who's got a child, and she was like, Sinead, you worry all the time in the first trimester, and then as soon as you feel the baby move, you worry whenever you can't feel the baby move, and then when it's born, you worry for the rest of its life. So basically, you're never going to stop worrying again. And I was like, okay, that's great. When did you tell your parents, close family, when you were pregnant? I literally, so I did a pregnancy test, And then me and Jack were like, whoa, this is so exciting. And then Jack was like, well, I've got some work to get on with. And I was like, oh. So I was like, I'm gonna go to Mum's house and tell her then. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I told my parents, and they were like, when did you find out? And I was like, 10 minutes ago. I'm really close to my family, so I was like, I need to tell them. And then my other sister, Lauren, who you guys probably know, was there as well. So I told her, and then I was like, I need to tell my other, because I've got 2 other sisters, so I was like, I need to tell them. So then I went and told those 2, and then when Jack had finished doing his work, I was like, we should go and tell your mum and your dad, because it's not fair that we've told all my family, do you know what I mean? So then we went and told his. But I think we waited until it was nearly the end of the first trimester to tell like Jack's grandparents and aunties and stuff, and all of our aunties, because we were just like, let's just wait before we get the word out. But close family we told like basically the day or the day after. Someone said, how come you haven't shown your bump yet? I mean, I'm a bit offended by this because you guys know I'm desperate for a bump. Someone said, how many weeks are you? Do you have a little bump yet? I kind of have a bit of a bump, but I feel like I just look bloated. And I am 16, nearly 18 weeks. Yeah, 18 weeks on Wednesday. When you're watching this, I'll be 18 weeks. Sorry, not good at maths. Someone said, is your husband allowed to appointments? Yes, he's allowed to my scans. I haven't actually had any face-to-face appointments because of COVID. They've all been over the phone. But my next appointment is, we had the scan, and he's allowed to come to scans, but apparently he's not allowed to come to appointments. So he came to the scan, on the 12-week scan, and he's coming to the 20-week scan, which is in October. And then the next appointment is my 25-week appointment with my midwife, which will be face-to-face, and he's not allowed to come to that. So I think that is all of the questions. She's literally burrowing in me. When I told you she was a baby, I was not exaggerating. So that's all of the questions. So if anyone has any more questions, feel free to ask away. Lots of people just asking how I am, and I'm over the first trimester now, so I'm into the second trimester. Generally, I'm fine apart from my mood swings. So whenever people said mood swings, I kind of just thought happy and sad because I'm a simple person, clearly. But the emotions that I've been experiencing the most are anxiety. Like, I suffer from anxiety anyway. I take a mild dose of citalopram, and my anxiety has been off the hook. It's usually around the afternoon, evening that it kind of comes on, but sometimes it can come on all day. Literally for the last few days, like in the evenings, last night it took me like 2 hours to eat my dinner because I was like, I need to eat because I need to, if not for me, for the baby. But I was just, you know, so anxious, you feel sick. I was like shaking, like cried, like it just felt so ill. So yeah, anxiety, which is really rubbish. And I have also been suffering from anger. And I didn't even think about anger until someone else messaged me like, it's really normal to be angry to your emotions. No, she said your emotions are everywhere. I was really angry when I was at your point, and my sister is pregnant and she's really angry too. And I was like, oh, so this is why it's so good that I have all of you guys to help me, because I was like, I didn't even think of anger as an emotion that you would experience, but I have had quite a bit of anger. Like, and also I feel like I'm more ruled by emotions. Like, normally if something upset me, like after an hour or so I could just like brush it off, like an hour maximum. Whereas I feel like now, if something upsets me, that's just it for the rest of the day. So yeah, I feel like definitely that's quite hard, like my emotions. And I feel like the anxiety is also stress as well. Like, I'm letting myself get way too stressed out with work. So I feel like, yeah, I'm generally fine in health and wellness, but my emotions are a friggin' roller coaster. So that's how I am at the moment. But I guess I'll take the emotions for not feeling sick and tired all the time. But yeah, so that's everything. If you've got any more questions, let me know and I'll answer them in the description below. And yeah, if you have any more questions about anything, like, I know I went on about contraception too, so if you've got any questions about that, like, I know that picking the right one for you. Obviously everyone's different, but it's so hard. So as someone who's tried quite a few, if you want my opinions on any, then like feel free. And if it's like you find it embarrassing, like you can always DM me on Instagram. My Instagram will be in my description, and I always reply to my DMs. So I will see you and speak to you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.